I'd say about 15 years ago, I was actually traveling on business. I was in Chicago, and I'm lying in bed, and I just felt bad. I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but my heart was just, it was an irregular heartbeat. I went to visit my doctor and was diagnosed with having what he identified as atrial fibrillation. And at the time, he said it's just not a big deal. Leading a normal lifestyle is something most of us take for granted. As those things became more and more difficult for me, I realized that I have a serious condition. I mean, it was a wake-up call. I realized that this is definitely impacting, my lifestyle. One of the first things that we tried was a more aggressive drug therapy, which seemed to help initially, but it didn't last as long as I would have liked. He, at that point, recommended that we try something called cardioversion. I had my first ablation therapy in 2007, but I reverted back to AFib. And that was a very, very depressing episode, to realize that you've gone through what's considered to be a fairly significant medical procedure. And, in my mind, I'm back to where I started. You start to wonder, how serious is this? And that's when my wife and I started doing some research. And my cardiologist said, well, there's a new procedure that's known as a hybrid ablation procedure. But there's only 3 or 4 hospitals that are offering this procedure at the time. For me, it was the alternative to the conventional maze option, which to me was just not an option. I just didn't want to have my chest cut open. I didn't want to have open heart surgery. My wife and I, we flew out to California to meet with the team that would be doing the actual hybrid ablation procedure. The real key turning point was when we met with Dr. Dunnington. He was very encouraging. When I met him, I was amazed at his youthful appearance and his confidence. And it became obvious to me very, very quickly that this is something that he's very good at doing, that he's very comfortable doing. So it allayed my concerns almost immediately, having met him. We absolutely were convinced that this was the right procedure to do. I remember basically waking up from it, and my first question was, am I okay? And everybody said, yeah, you did great. And I said, no stroke? Nope, no stroke. That was my big concern. The recovery started becoming really noticeable. After about 2 weeks, I started making tremendous progress day after day. So for me, it's like being reborn. I have my life back again, and it's just a wonderful feeling. And I have a tremendous debt of gratitude to Dr. Dunnington for, basically taking me through this amazing journey. In this day and age, you don't have to live with AFib for the rest of your life. The good news is that Dr. Dunnington, who is now practicing at St. Helena, is an absolute expert at this procedure. He knows, not only the benefits of it, but has done many, many procedures with tremendous success. I encourage anyone who has not recovered from atrial fibrillation to seriously consider the hybrid ablation procedure.